Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Today we have a lot of companies connected from different countries on the world, from Singapore, India, Australia, all Europe. Thanks to all for joining us. The first is introduce us for some companies that don't know us today. Adquio is a company that develop devices and software for control systems. Okay, these control systems are used in buildings, industries, for manage systems like lighting, climate, solar production, etc. Okay? Today we go to launch 4 new big products for this market. Okay? And in the chat you have the possibility to put your questions. We have a college collecting all these questions, and after this presentation we go to answer all these questions. Okay, then we go to start. Today we go to introduce these 4 new products: Adquio API, Adquio Power Trace for Casambi, Adquio Full Remote Access for Casambi, and Adquio APP Builder. Let's go with Adquio APP. Integrate your system without limits. This is the current problem. We have 2 very different worlds. In one part, you have the ERPs software, BME software, business intelligence software, and this software needs to connect with the automation systems. But the automation systems talk protocols like Modbus, BACnet, industrial protocols. Then the connection between these 2 different worlds are very difficult. Okay, the correct solution is create in one of these parts one solution that connects with the other. Then this is Adquio API. Adquio API is a standard API REST, and this new solution can share all the information from the Adquio controllers with other software, any other software with a standard system. API are application programmers interface, is a system used by all the programmers in the world to communicate applications. Okay, mobile applications, desktop applications, and web applications. Then, if one control systems have one possibility to use one API, then this system is open to connect with all the systems. Then the other important thing is this system is modern because it's the current system to connect all the software, is secure by design. This is very, very important because we are working with a system in the web, on internet. Then the security is very, very important. And obviously is bidirectional. We not only can read from this system, we also can write, and then we can launch things in a Casambi network, change a temperature of a room, etc. Okay? What is Adquio API and what this system works? The first is a universal REST API, and very important, in the cloud. Then this is important because if you have one Adquio controller installed in your facility, if you activate Adquio API, you have all the data of this controller in the cloud, okay, and accessible from api.adquio.com. This is very important because the information goes from your controller to the cloud, and this is automatic, only activating Adquio API. Then, if your information is in the cloud, the security is very, very important for this, okay? Then we have complete security because we use in this API HTTPS for the connection and API key for any communication. You need one key to send messages to the server, and this key is personal for you or for your application only, okay? And this is universal and have a very quick integration because this is the standard system today in the world to communicate applications, okay? Then with this, if communicate two applications with one API is easy, communicate one application with the Adquio is easy again, okay? How this works? The first, you need one Adquio controller as data source for the API. You have a secure tunnel to connect your controller with the cloud, with the Adquio API, and then all your information is available in the cloud for you. Then you only need a mobile application or web application, software like ERP or business intelligence, or really any type of software that can manage APIs. Today, all the programming languages can manage APIs. Okay? The communication between your software and the API uses HTTPS, then the connection is encrypted and secure. Then, what is the advantage of this new system? The first, you have all your data available on the cloud all the time, okay? This server is working from 2 months ago for the infinite, okay? Then you can access your controllers via this API in any moment. Is in the cloud, then is very easy to use because you only need to connect with this system as you are connecting to a web page. Is obviously bidirectional, you can read and you can write to your system. You have no limit to integrate this system because it's an open system and you can integrate any number of devices, any number of technologies with this API and with your controllers. It's an ordered REST API with a good structure, and this is very good for the programmers because it's very easy to understand the components of this API, okay? And it's very easy to integrate and have advanced security because we use HTTPS and API key. And this is a real facility we installed 2 weeks ago, and is a crane in the port, and this crane needs to connect with virtual reality glasses. This client contacts us with this problem, and we install one Adquio mini controller. This Adquio mini controller connects with the PLC on the crew using Modbus TCP, and this Adquio mini sends all this information to the cloud, to the Adquio API. Then the virtual reality glasses can connect with this API and manage the crew. Okay? This is a very strange use for this API, but works, and the typical is connect mobile applications, web application, or desktop applications. Okay? Well, we launched the second big product. Adquio Power Trace for Casambi. Energy measurement without meters in Casambi networks. What is this? First, the current problem. If you need to know the consumption of one group in your lighting network, one flat, one room, or one building, only for lighting, you need, if you need this detail, install 1 meter for this group 1 meter, group 2, sorry, other meter, group 3, other meter, 1 meter per group you need to know the consumption, okay? And the other problem is, if you make this, install a lot of meters, you have big problems, like a lot of wires in your facility, because you need to feed or power every group with different line for this, okay? And install 1 meter for this line. And this is a lot of wires and very, very expensive, because you need a lot of hardware for this. Then the final client, in this case, don't accept your budget, because this is crazy, okay? This is impossible. Then this client or this type of facilities have only a meter for all the lighting, for example, and have only the global data, not the detailed data, okay? If need to make a plan to make this better, this is impossible, because you don't have the needed information, okay, for this. Then the solution for this is Adquio Power Trace for Casambi. Because this system can take the consumption information from the Casambi network without installing meters. We convert the information from events in the Casambi network and other things we go to see in the next slides to kilowatts hour, okay? And this is important because you can make this with any criteria. The consumption of one room, one group of luminaires, one flat on a building. Really, you select your type of metering, Okay? Then, what is PowerTrace? PowerTrace is a software layer running inside one Adquio controller. This software can manage all the Casambi events in the network and can convert this information in power information, in consumptions, okay? And this convert your Casambi network in a complete energy management tool. How we can make this? This is like magic. To make this, Adquio, in the first part, is connected to the Casambi network and is taking all the events from this network. When one group is power on, power off, or dimming, changing the level of this group, okay? All this information is managed by the Adquio controller. This for all the groups you have in your Casambi network, obviously. And not only not one Casambi network. You can make this with any number of Casambi networks. This is very important. Then we have the first part. The second part to can make this magic is the luminars specifications, because in the data sheet of these luminars you have the information of the consumption of these luminars in 100%, the consumption of this luminar in 18%, 16%, etc. Okay? Then Adquio collects all this information, store in the controller, and then Adquio can calculate if you have in one group 20 luminars. It's very easy to multiply 20 luminars for the consumption at this dimming level and store this information. Okay? Additionally to this, we manage also the standby consumption of the drivers. Okay? The drivers have a little consumption to keep alive the logic of the driver when the luminar is powered off. Okay? Then we can manage this little consumption also with the other information. And with this information we can generate kilowatts instant consumption and kilowatts hour for any type of period, for minute, hours, weeks, month, any period you need, okay? And what precision have this system for measuring consumptions? This is very, very precise, and we have the possibility to calibrate this consumption to the real consumption of your facility in one time when we are installing this system. If you have a polymeter, for example, or a meter, a global meter, we can compare our data with this meter and we can apply a ratio to our data to adjust exact to the correct consumptions. Okay? Without calibration, the information is good. With calibration, the information is perfect. Okay? And this information can be sent to one Adquio SCADA server, for example, to show this information, our BMEs, for example, or any other software using the standard protocols like Modbus, BACnet, or the Adquio API. Okay? And with this, we can send this information to any type of software. Then, with this, finally, you have your energy under control, because you have the estimated power, you have smart alerts. These alerts can be managed by the Adquio SCADA or the Adquio Cloud BMS. You have consumptions per period. Obviously, you have this information. You can sum this information to obtain any type of period of consumption information. You can map this information in a plan, for example, using, for example, Adquio SCADA server or other solutions, for example, to create heat maps, for example. You have a totally flexible export systems, because you can export this information using standard protocols. You can export this information using the Adquio API, or you can export this information using the SCADA or the BMS in CSV to send direct this information to one Excel spreadsheet, for example. Okay? And obviously you have reporting of this. You have reports in the BMS, in the SCADA, and this is very helpful for you, because if you are trying to make better your consumptions, then you have information to start this work. Okay? And the big advantage of this system is you don't need additional hardware. You only need one Adquio controller connected to your Casambi networks. It's very fast to install, because if you have one Adquio controller, we only need to install the software in your controller, connect with your groups or your things or your data, and configure the specifications of your drivers. Only this. The typical is in one afternoon this is working. Okay? And obviously you can scale this to any size of facility, from one Casambi network to any number of Casambi networks. And where you can apply this technology? You can apply this in any place you have Casambi networks. Then you can install this in retail, in workshops, in smart homes, in public spaces, etc. You can install this in any Casambi networks. Okay? And you have a good example in this slide, because this is a real facility from one of our partners, and this information is giving to the client the information for consumption of 64 different groups in a parking, for example. Okay? If you need this information with traditional use, like installing meters, you need 64 meters to obtain the same information. Okay? This is very, very different. And we can send to this client other information about the lighting. In this case, we have the current consumption, the consumption for the current day. This client have other screens when have the consumption in the week, in the month, and in the year. Okay? And additionally to the consumption, in this slide we have the number of times this light is on. Okay? The number of times the light is on. Obviously the light is off. All this is working with presence sensors, and then the client can know exact the consumption of every part in this parking with 3 floors. okay? And you can take this information and obviously send to your VMEs, for example, in this case, Adquio Cloud VMEs. Then this information is visible in a nice graphics like this, okay? Well, with this, we finish this second big product. Now, you can offer to your clients to know the consumptions of every group or everything in the Casambi networks without installing any meter, only one Adquio controller, okay? This is very important if you are managing this network with an Adquio controller, then now you have the possibility to inform to your client with all this consumption information. The next big product from Adquio. Adquio full remote access for Casambi. Breaking down the barriers to remote access. What is this? If you install Casambi, you know that you have a little problem. You can install your Casambi network in your client, and if you install a Casambi Cloud Gateway in this facility, you can manage this Casambi network from your office with, for example, one tablet, okay? You can manage this network, but you don't have the complete control of this network because you have disabled, a lot of options in the Casambi application if you are in remote. Examples of this is, for example, update the devices in the Casambi networks, add one new device to the network, etc. Okay? Then, if you need to make one of these tasks, you need to travel to your client to update the network, to add luminaires to the network, etc. You need to travel to your client. This is expensive for your client because this is not automatic. You need to spend your time to go to your client and make these operations, okay? Then your client is not happy with this because need to wait for you and need to pay for this work, this special work, okay? Then what is the solution to solve all these 6 questions? The solution is full remote access for Casambi. And what is this? Sorry, one moment. Adquio full remote access for Casambi is 2 different things. One hardware and one software. The first, this hardware is a little device with only one connection, one PoE Ethernet to power and communicate the device. And this device is connected using Bluetooth to your Casambi network, okay? This is the first part. The second part is a software running in your computer, and this software can manage all the Casambi network you have installed, all your clients, all your facilities, all your networks in these facilities. How this works? The first, you need one of these devices connected to every one of your networks. If you have 3 Casambi networks, you need 3 Adquio full remote access for Casambi devices. Okay? 1 device per Casambi network. Additionally to this, you need 1 Adquio controller. This Adquio controller is managing the connection and the encrypted VPNs from your devices to the cloud. Okay? This is very, very important. All these connections are have complete security. And this Adquio controller can manage also other things in the Casambi network. Then, in the cloud, you have 2 very different possibilities. You can use a public server managed by us, or you can use a private server. If you have a client that needs the complete control of this system, you can offer to this client the possibility to install a private server for manage this system. Then we have 2 options: private server for manage the connections, or public server for all the other partners. Okay? These have a complete security and is a good option 1 or 2, depending on the depending on your client needs. And finally, you have your software, your software connect to this cloud and permit you the connection with your Casambi networks. What is the structure of this? The first, we have partners. Every of these partners have end customers. Okay, 1, 2, 3, any number. Every of these customers can have projects. Every of these projects can have 1 or more facilities, and this facility can have any number of Casambi networks. The project and facilities can be ambiguous in some projects, but in big projects this is important because, for example, if you have 1 commercial center complete, you can have 1 project, the commercial center, but different lighting facilities. For example, the lightings in the parking, the lightings in the corridors, and the lighting in the shops, for example. Okay? 3 facilities, 1 project. Okay? How this works? This is the application your client use, and this is a good example of this. Your client name is in the top, client name example in this case, and this client have the projects, every project have different facilities, okay, and this facility have any number of Casambi networks. If you need to connect to this Casambi network, you only need to make 1 click. This is going to establish a VPN with the cloud, and the cloud is connecting to the Adquio controller, and the Adquio controller connecting to your Casambi network. And this is very quick, like you can see. Okay? You have your Casambi network complete, okay, and you have all the options because this is a local system. Then you have all your devices in your Bluetooth coverage, for example, and you can add devices. Okay? Then you have the complete control of your Casambi network with 1 click. This is very important for you. Then we can close this Casambi application, for example. It's not a problem. This is the desktop of our device. You can reopen this Casambi application in any moment to continue your work. In this case, we go to connect to our network. Okay? Connected. To close this, you only need to close this window and the software return to the connection center. Okay? If you need to connect to other network, click on the network and connect. So easy, so quick, no problem. Okay? This is a solution if you have clients and this client needs fast support, because you have the complete control. You can make with this remote commissioning, and this is a big change in Casambi networks, okay? Because you have the complete remote control of your networks. Okay, and what are the advantages of this new technology? The first, full remote access. Full remote access without travel, okay? You can see, you only need to make one click to connect to your system. You have roles and permissions in this software, okay? You have, obviously, all the functions you are working in local. You have a fast resolution time for the client problems. You have complete isolation between facilities, okay? You don't have problem to mix one facility with other, no. All the facilities have different VPNs and are totally separated, okay? Then, with this, you can give to your client a low operating cost for the support, because for you it's very easy to solve problems in your Casambi network in remote. And obviously, as in all our products, you have the complete security in these connections. The connection between your computer and the cloud is using a VPN, and the connection between the cloud and the Adquio controller use a VPN. Then you have a complete security for this. Other important thing before finish this product, other important thing, for connecting to this software, we don't use one software like AnyDesk or TeamViewer. We use the native connection of the Android device, okay? You don't need to install any remote software in this device, because this device can be managed direct to the Android operating system. And this is very important because you don't need to install anything in the device, okay? Sorry. Next big product. Adquio App Builder. Create web and mobile applications without code. What is this? First, your current problem. If your client asks you for a custom application for manage the facility, this today is very difficult, because create a custom application starting from scratch is very slow, have a high cost because you need programmers, you need to contract one company of developing to make this, one study of your needs. You have a lot of cost to create this type of applications. Then the final result today with these problems is the client say no to all this because it's very expensive and needs a lot of time to create this type of applications because this is really complex. You need to contact with one company that can make Android applications, okay? Android or iOS applications. Then the solution is Adquio App Builder. What is this? Adquio App Builder is a software in the cloud that can create mobile applications, Android and iPhone, and web applications. You only need to design this application, and the result of your work can be something like this. In this phone you have a group, sorry, it's in Spanish, salon is living room, with an icon. You have a control for the lighting, you have other control for the lighting of the TV, you have a control for the temperature on this room with the current temperature of the temperature you like or you need, the state of the blinds, you can manage the level of the blinds, and in this case you have example of a calendar to manage automations in your systems, okay? And finally, in this example, you have a on-off auto buttons. This can manage, for example, in a retail shop, can manage the climate in automatic mode, auto. You can have a calendar for this, and the climate start at 9 o'clock and is powered off at 21 in the night, for example, okay? And this is auto. Off is always off. Nobody can start the climate. And on is always on, for example, in this example, okay? This application can have any number of groups of this type, any number of elements in any group, and any type of control. You have sliders, buttons, switches, color picker, slide for select the temperature of the color in white, for example, graphics, bar graphics, line graphics, and circular graphics, chart graphics. You have a lot of controls you can use in this interface. And then what do you need to obtain one application or to obtain one web to manage all this? You only need to design your interface. And you can, with this designer, customize your application 100% with your logo, your text, and your colors, okay? And then you don't need to make anything more. Only design the application. The next, connect with the Adquio API and generate the application is made on the server, okay? You don't need anything more. Then with this one design 3 different things: web application, iPhone application, Android application. And then if you compare this system with the traditional system, you cannot compare, because you need months to the first type of developing, and you need minutes to this system to develop applications. Okay? This is very, very different. And then we are rewriting the rules, because now with this software you can develop applications for your clients fast, with a little cost, and very simple. You can see in the next demo. Okay, we go to change, sorry, to the Adquio app builder. Adquio app builder is a web. The web is apps.adquio.com. Okay, you only need a credentials to connect to this system. These credentials, please, to obtain it, ask us, and we can create a credential for you as customer and for your client as final user. Well, the first for you is select your client. I go to select demo. The system is loading the current application for this client. Okay, this application have a lot of options, like you can see, but all these options are very easy to understand. The first option, you can save or load in this position other applications you create for other clients if you need, or save in this position this application in your hard disk to use the same application for other client. Then you can share application between different clients, only changing the variables you have connected and, for example, the logo in this application. You have the version of this application. This is very, very powerful, because you have the possibility to create one application for your client, and if your client tells you, I need one change in this part, or I need other control in this room, for example, you can modify the application, change this value from 3 for 4, for example, and making this, only this, and saving this, obviously, your client, when you start the application in the phone, receive one message: you have a new version of your application. Do you like to download it? Yes. And your client have the new version installed in the phone. Okay? Very easy, very quick, very fast for you and for your client. Then you have the title of this application, for example, my home. You can select a logo for the top of the application. This logo can be your logo as Adquio partner, or the logo of your client, for example, to personalize the application for the client. The next is the colors of the application, the background colors, the color of the groups, the colors of the components, and the color of the background of the icons. Okay? You can select any color, really. By default, we propose the default colors we use. Okay? And from here, you can start to create your groups and your components. Any number of groups, any number of components inside every group. In this case, living room in English, sorry, this is in Spanish. Living room, for example, an icon for this living room, you can select between a lot of icons. Okay, we can increase this number of icons without problem, but for living room this is good, a couch with a lamp. Then icon and name, and every component can have the name you need to see in the application, the icon for this lighting, for example, we can change this, for example, the variable in Adquio you have connected to this. This can be any variable in your Adquio controller, okay? This comes from the Adquio API, this is using the API, and these variables can be, for example, Casambi variables, and this can be device 3 level, for example, or device 3 color, for example. Then you can manage from here any variable in the Adquio controller and connect to your controller in your application. If these variables are Casambi applications, you are managing your Casambi network, okay? Sorry, one moment. Then the text you need to see in this component, the type of component you need to use, slider, switch, button, temperature selector, color selector, color temperature selector, calendar, multi-button, etc. Okay, you have a lot of controls, and we can create more controls if you need. And finally, in the components, the minimum value and the maximum value. For a slider, this is values for the 0 and the top value. This slider can manage. And for a switch, for example, the minimum value is the off value and the maximum value is the on value, for example. Okay? And then you can have any number of controls, like you can see. Okay? And any number of groups. When you click in this button, create app, the server is working to create your applications. You finish your work, no more, okay? Select the icons, the text, the colors, the logos, and the title for your application, no more, and your application is working. Okay? What is the advantage of this new technology from Adquio? The first, you build your application one time, and you have the web, the Android, and the iOS application ready. This is crazy. Total control from your hands, because with this you have the possibility to create an application for all your facilities, custom application for all your clients. This is a very, very big advantage for you, okay? Obviously, you have the complete security in all our systems. You have encrypted connection for all the connections, okay? From your phone to the cloud, and from the cloud to your Adquio controller. And you have all the power to scale this solution to any size of facility. You can manage with this one home automation system or a commercial center complete, because you have no limit in the size of your facilities. You can have any number of Casambi network, any number of sinks, any number of luminaires, any number of climate machines. You can manage all. Order it in groups in your application, and you can make a scroll in your application to manage any system. Okay? Where you can use this? You can use this in smart homes, the typical, to manage the climate, the lighting, the windows, the bills, the doors, sorry. Okay, or you can use this for the person in charge in retail, for example, to manage the retail shops in all the country from your phone, all the systems, the calendars for the lighting, the calendar for climate, the current state of the luminaires, or for example, if you have solar production, you can see in your phone your current production of your solar panels, the state of your batteries, etc. And finally, in hospitality, you can give to your clients or to your clients one application in the phone to manage the room, for example, the lighting, the temperature of the room, etc. Okay, what do you think about these solutions? We think that every of these 4 solutions are very big, are very good for you to give to your clients new are very decided services. Custom mobile application to manage the facility, consumption without installing meters, one API to universal connection of the data of the facility with anything very easy, and the remote control of the facility for a perfect support your clients. Okay? 4 big news in this presentation. But we have one more thing. And this new product is now a small product. At this moment in the market, you manage your artificial intelligence with your voice, or manage your custom automation with Google Home, with Alexa, with Siri, okay, with your voice. And what if you can manage your Adquio controller with Alexa? From now, you can manage any Adquio controller with your Alexa device. Your Alexa device can be one Echo Dot, Echo Show, any ecosystem, or the Alexa application installed in your phone. Okay? With this, you can control any variable of your Adquio controller by voice. Then your voice link for Alexa, our skill in Amazon, this is the name, and your Adquio controller. You don't need anything. If you have one Adquio controller, you can activate for free the voice link skill in your Amazon application. Is totally free for you and for your client, obviously. And this voice link is connected to your controller. In the next slide we go to see all the circuit for this, and can manage all your questions by voice and send all this to the Adquio controller. Then with this you have the perfect connection between Alexa, the most used voice assistant today, and your Adquio controller, the open ecosystem of control, our ecosystem. Okay? How this work? The first, you have your Alexa controllers, Echo Dot, Echo Show, any device that support Alexa. This Alexa device connect with the Amazon servers with the maximum security. The Amazon servers connect with our skill, voice link for Alexa, and this skill make other very important thing. This skill allows you to select the variables from your Adquio controller you want to share with Alexa. Okay? Then you can select only this, and this can be shared with Alexa. The other variables, no. Okay? This is important because you have the power to send to Alexa only the variables you need. This skill connect with the Adquio API, and the Adquio API connect with the Adquio controllers. The Adquio controllers then can have connected any type of devices using standard protocols like BACnet, Modbus, MQTT, API, Casambi, DALI, etc. Okay? And these variables can be from any of these devices, not Adquio internal variables. You can send to Alexa one Casambi sync, for example, or you can send to Alexa one variable of one big climate machine, for example, okay? The desired temperature, for example. And Alexa can modify this variable in your device using all this technology. And then what you can manage with this system, any light control, any light control system, Casambi, DALI, relay lighting, for example, climate systems, solar systems, integrations, blinds, pool lightings, pool depuration, any system. You can manage all with your voice using this new technology. And then what are the advantages of this new technology? You can manage all with your voice. Then you have instant voice control. You have comfort and accessibility, because only with your voice you can change the light, you can change the temperature on your room, you can manage any variable in the Adquio controller. You can use this from anywhere, because this application is installed, for example, in your phone, and you can say, Alexa, turn on kitchen lighting, and you can are traveling from Singapore, and your home in Spain have the lighting of the kitchen on. Okay? No barriers for the place you can control with these systems. You don't need any application, you don't need anything, only activate the Adquio skill in the Alexa application and no more. All your Alexa devices are working with Adquio, and obviously your phone with Alexa is working with Adquio. Only this. With this new facility, you can win projects because you have other capability that your competitors don't have, okay? And this can be very important for you. This works in any language, okay? You can talk with your Alexa in any language, and it's important the variables in Adquio are written in this language. If you need, for example, to use French to manage your Adquio controller, then put your name of your variables in French. Only this. In the same language, you need to manage your Adquio controllers. And this is compatible with all your current installed Adquio controllers, okay? You don't need a new device to make this works. This works with all your Adquio installed devices. Any device installed in any time. From the beginning, our first controller works with Alexa. From the beginning to today, okay? Then you don't need any new controller. All your Adquio controllers are working with Alexa today. And this is added value for all your clients. If your client asks for Alexa in the facility, you can say, yes, no problem, okay? This is very, very important. Okay, and finally, we have time for your questions. If you have any question or any doubt, you can write in the chat of this video, and we try to answer all these questions. Well, we have, by the moment, 2 questions. At this moment, Adquio Full Casambi Remote Access can only work in a Windows computer, okay? At this moment, only in Windows computer, because the remote access for Android is running at this moment in Windows, in Mac OS, and in Linux, but you have now the remote control for Android from Android. If in the market we have available the Android to Android direct control without applications, then we can create a new phone application to manage this in your phone. By the moment, no. We launch the first option for Windows, and in the next weeks, in the next months, we can launch the same application for Mac OS and for Linux, okay? Okay. Several questions in the second point. To download this application, you go to have this application in the Play Store. Adquio app, this is the name, okay? At this moment, no. But you have this published in the standard markets for Android and for iPhone. This application is a clear application. When you start this application and you identify you with your credentials, this application is going to download your custom application from the server and open to you, okay? One time only. Then we have a standard application in the market, in the Play Store or in the Google Play, and this application is going to download your customized application. This is standard and automatic. By the moment, you cannot add icons to this, but if you need more icons, you can send these icons to us, and we can add these icons to our application. You have no limit in the maximum number of people that can download the application. If your client have 30 users, your client can download 30 applications, no problem, okay? This is totally open and you can download any number of applications. You have no limits, okay? This is also very, very important. For the dot 3, to make the Alexa skill work, we need to enable for you the API in your controller, okay? This is free for you. We only need to enable the API because Alexa works with the API and give you and user and password for this skill. The skill asks you for user and password to enter in our system. Then we create an user and password for you, and this user and password identify not only you, identify you and your Adquio controller and connect your account with the Adquio controller. You need different user for every Adquio. You need to connect with this, okay? And we can give you this user and this password for the Alexa skill. No, you don't need to make anything in the controller. You don't need to update the controller. The controller is the same you have now, okay? You only need in the Alexa skill select the variables from your controller you want to share with Alexa, only this. I don't understand the dot 4. Okay. If the dimmers for this we need the dimmers work with DALI, okay? If the dimmers could the power of the luminaire of the driver, we cannot work with this type of dimmers because these dimmers don't send us the information. Then we cannot work with this. The dimmers that works using DALI and with the Casambi level value, okay? Then this yes to this, but not to the old dimmers that cut the power to the luminaires. Okay, any other question or doubt, you can contact us at adquio.com in the contact option in the menu, or you can send a mail to alfonsosolis.adquio.com or guillermocuervo@adquio.com. Also, you have available the WhatsApp icon in our web for a direct contact, okay? Well, thanks to all to support you in this big presentation. It's our first time in live. All our material in YouTube is recorded, not in live, and this is our first live presentation for all the world. Then, thanks to all assist to this presentation, and we keep open to all your contacts or all your questions, and I expect all these products like you very much. Thanks and bye.